Hey folks, back again. Today we are with Simon, who is over there, maybe, and he is reading a French VW magazine today. So he is learning his international languages through the medium of cars. How are you today, Simon?
Très bien.
Très bien indeed. Right, today let us have a look at some cars from the forum. I think let's do a bit of screen sharing and let's dive into the showcase right here. So this is our showcase. Ooh, gambling adverts, terrible. If you have not already, have a look through our little showcase bit of the forum. It's a brand new section of the forum, but it's growing in a number. It's for cars that are sort of complete or basically complete. And we'll occasionally pick out a couple, and they won't always be from here. I've had a few people send me some stuff on Instagram, which I plan to do in a future episode, which will be super exciting. But let us start with this Morris Minor Cosworth, because that's got loads of words that I like.
Morris Minor Cosworth. Crikey.
Look at that. That's a good start, isn't it?
I like that.
360 brake horsepower, weighs in at about 800 kilograms. That is going to be entertaining.
That's a lot of horses.
Obviously got double wishbone front suspension, 5-link rear, LSD, gas coilovers, used as a road car, bit of drag racing, some track days. This right here, I'm going to put right out there, is a perfect retro car. Absolute textbook definition retro car. Let's have a look. What do you reckon so far, Simon?
Well, I suppose I should look at this section of the forum, but then I wouldn't be surprised like this anymore. This is a really smart-looking car. Apart from that roll cage, if you're not good at spotting the size of steel wheels, then you wouldn't really question that, would you? That's an excellent Q car sleeper type of build.
Oof.
And 360 horsepower. That's wow. Oh. Backseat driving position almost.
Yeah. That is pretty impressive.
I was about to say, is that a full chassis? But your scrolling has answered my question. That is proper.
That is not messing around, is it? I like this a lot.
Is that a 4-link rear?
Yeah, it's a 4-link rear. Oh, I like, yes. Look at all of this, all of the pretty bits.
This car on our forum, how cool is that?
I know, it's nuts, isn't it? I'm super impressed by this. I like the fact that this is the daily driver with that crazy rear seeing position. But I guess that's how it ends up by the time you've got all of your engine in the little front of here. You end up a little bit pushed back.
Well, I believe the Morris Minor was originally designed to have like a flat 4 in the front. So it was only the engine base sort of only 2 cylinders long in a way.
Oh, I didn't know.
So anything, I mean, he's probably done some of that for weight distribution, but yeah, they're very small engine bays.
I did not know that.
No, well, there you go. It's a Gomez thing, you know.
I quite like this sort of stuff as well. The hidden bits and pieces. They kind of really, I don't know, that it's never going to be a Q car, but it's still kind of neat that efforts have been made to retain a fairly period-looking dash on top of what is clearly not a period anything car.
I'm trying to remember from my Morris Minor days, because the glove box is on one side, and then the other side, I think that's usually hasn't got an opening in it at all. So it looks like he's cut a glove box in half, but I'm pretty sure that area isn't a glove box anyway on a stock Moggy, but that's just so cool.
These are the only incongruous bit to me, sort of stick out a little bit.
It's a racy thing though, isn't it? It's a racy thing.
Get your pots and refill and all that sort of stuff. Interested to know what's going on at the back here as well. But I'm just, I was blown away with this when I saw it. I was like, this is kind of as I say, the definition of a retro car. It's a lovely old Morris Minor, or what looks like one, and then it'll tear your arm off as soon as look at you. Very, very big fan of this.
Yeah. Properly built as well, that, isn't it?
Yeah, that's not the thing.
Ultimate judges in that scenario, but
from
what I can see, That looks properly built.
It looks like someone has taken the time to make sure that this is not going to fall apart at the first possible opportunity.
Yeah.
So that's super nice.
What's the
Cool.
username of our builder here? Who is
The
that?
username of our builder is 58 Moggy, rather
58
appropriately.
Moggy.
So I'm guessing this is a 58.
Let me see. I can't see. Is it 58? No. Would be a split screen, or is that the changeover year?
Oh, it could be the changeover year.
It's not a split screen.
Those changeover year of cars, they're always nuts, aren't they?
Yeah.
I as somebody that had a changeover year camper van, it was cool, but also an absolute pain in the ass.
Yeah.
So on the camper van I had, it had the later Type 4 engine, which was a little bit more powerful than the Type 1 that was in the bay windows. And it had the larger rear inlets for the Type 4. And a bit it had the lovely bumpers and stuff that you got on the early bays. So it looked really nice. But it didn't have the top access panel that you got in later bays. So because the engine layout was slightly different to a Type 1, it was really, really difficult to work on, which was great when you're not very good at working on cars. Like getting at the back spark plugs required skinned knuckles. I think it said in the Haynes manual, you have to skin your knuckles here in order to access these. So,
did it say, open the engine hatch cover? And you were like,
yeah.
How many times can I look under this carpet before I admit that there isn't one here? It's a Type 4. Where's my hatch? I want my hatch now, Haynes.
Yep, that's exactly what it was. It's like, lift up the hatch. I was like, there's no hatch here.
There's no hatch.
It didn't even have the decency to have Porsche cooling fans on it either, which was quite disappointing, but there we go.
Cheeky.
Bastards.
But we've got to score this, have we?
We do have to score this. I also like the fact it's got a THX number plate, which is quite a nerdy reference. I don't suppose it's necessarily active, but...
How nerdy is that? Is it short for thanks?
THX 1138 is a very early George Lucas film, and the numbers THX 1138 appear sort of throughout various things. They appear in Star Wars, they appear in Blade Runner, they appear in Indiana Jones. It's like a little Easter egg all over the place. But whilst we're here, THX 1138 is great for the cars. We should do one of these on movie cars. You can pick our favourite movie cars and then do it. Let's do one of them. Cool. I'm going to say that for then. It won't come as a surprise when we do it that I'll pick one of the THX 1138 cars. Anyway.
Nice.
What do you reckon, Simon? Score-wise, where are you going with it?
This is good. I could tweak it visually, but I wouldn't need to. So I am going to give this 9.
Yeah. 9. Exactly where I was heading with it.
There you go.
As you say, there is some things, if it were mine, I would do slightly differently. One of the things I do quite like is this door handle. The
window winder.
Window winder.
Chain.
So rather than it being down there, you just put it on a chain up here. I think
a really surprising solution, isn't it? I'd have put electric windows in it, I think, but that's awesome.
So I'm definitely going with a 9 on this as well. I think it would the things that would score it higher for me would be, and again, there's probably many reasons why it's not like this. A slightly less pushback seating position, and a few bits and pieces like this. I would minimize it a little bit more. I would try and hide the roll cage a little bit more and stuff like that. But I guess he can't. So that's why we can live in fantasy land and say we would do this. We're not saying I wouldn't have this car. If someone offered this to me, I would snap their arm off for it.
I certainly would.
It is absolutely super awesome. So well done, 58 Moggy. Your car is actual magic.
It's you could say it's Beardmore-tastic almost.
It is Beardmore-tastic. It's got that element to it, and we are big fans of the Beardmores. So that is no higher accolade, I think, for a minor. Right, I'm going for something else similarly fully constructed. So this is a chap called Metal Shapes, and his work is superb, as his Avatar shows, little Fiat 500s, Fiat
Nice.
600s and stuff at the moment, but occasionally he'll pop in and show some of his older stuff, and it universally seems to be brilliant. So he decided to buy himself sort himself out a 1928 Ford Roadster, which is pretty neat. So he started collecting his parts, and here are his parts collection.
Where's he based? Do we know?
I thought he was based in the Netherlands, to be honest with you. I don't know why I thought that, but
the body wasn't, because is that not cactus there?
That does look like cactus. I don't think they have a lot of cactus in the Netherlands.
Be wrong. I could be wrong. I mean, you're the international expert, but I don't think that's the Netherlands.
So now I'm thinking maybe I'm very wrong, and he's based in the USA.
That's probably where he bought the body from. It's probably the pictures from the eBay ad that he bought the body from.
No. So this is his collection of parts. So
is it?
Yeah. So let's assume he's in the States, and I'm just wrong, because that does happen occasionally. So then he see that little Fiat 600.
Yeah, look at that.
So sometime later he had a garage to work in. So his plan was he wanted a car that was 4 foot total height. And there was enough space for him inside, and he's 6'2". So what he realized was he could do it by sitting between the chassis rails and the transmission. And then to put strength back into it, so he cut out all the floors, and to put strength back into it, he basically rebuilt the floors, bulkhead, all of that stuff, like as a monocoque. So the whole thing became a monocoque construction, which is a really neat solution to how to get your hot rod crazy low, but still stable and solid and unlikely to twist quite as much. Yes, all this very neat, lovely bits of welding. Everything nice and tucked up. Got his seats in there, so now you can see the transmission tunnel, floor,
tight,
rails. Yes, a little bit tight. It's nice. So he was running the small block Chevy out of a 57 Vet, but apparently it was pretty unreliable. So he got himself a 350 small block.
I don't think you could run a hood on that, do you? It's not going to get a bonnet on there.
Not at that time. So then built himself a removable hardtop.
Nice.
Look at this work. This is really nice. So then it starts to look like that. That's with it.
That looks more traditional than I thought it was going to. Having seen sort of the floor work and that engine, is that so we scroll down and we're looking at something that's clearly not 40s built.
No,
it's really traditional looking. I like
so his original plan was to use all pre-60s bits, which is where the old Vet engine came in. But that was, as he said, it was unreliable. So he allowed himself a slightly more modern engine. But because he has a more modern engine, quote unquote, he decided to build himself a hood. Look at this really nice louvered.
Louver heads. Nice.
Yeah, you can see why he calls himself Metal Shapes.
Because he shaped some metal there.
He has shaped some metal beautifully. And then that's kind of what he's ended up with, which is very pleasant. And then he built himself a steering wheel, as you do.
Yeah.
I just built myself a steering wheel. Stuck that in there. Put himself some aluminium drums on so that it looks a little bit nicer. And then that's what he's got right now. That's what it looks like.
Which does look, it looks traditional. You could turn up in that and you're pre-48 days and no one's going to go, oh no. Ooh. Yeah,
that's what I like about it. He's taken a really interesting approach to build a very usable trad rod. And it's nice and low, like as he said, he wants the 4 foot height on this, but he still wanted some clearance under here. One of the problems I have with some of like not so much the trad rods, but some of the rat rods is that they'll just disregard their scrub lines. So they always disturb me a little bit. I'm sure they're always going to be fine, but it's just that one day.
Scrub line's a bit iffy, isn't it there? Isn't it?
It's close.
Because I was thinking that when you were talking about dropping the floor pans inside the rails there, I was thinking about scrub lines. But it's pretty close. I reckon he's all right. I reckon he's going to be all right.
I reckon let's see if we got the side shot up here somewhere. Yeah, I think it's close, but I'd be interested to know. I'd be super interested to know, because I know that a lot of like the more rat type rods that I've seen run like inside their scrub lines.
Yeah, not a chance on some of those, but That's close. And you
Yeah,
could always put bigger wheels on it to drive home with
yeah.
smaller tyres. It's always a good solution.
Yeah, I just really like it. I mean, it it's a rarity that we have sort of rods, particularly of this type, come up on the forum anyway. So it's nice to see, nice to get some insight into what they've done and how they've built it. But yeah, I quite like it. What do you reckon? You're more of a hot rod aficionado than I am, so
I feel like I'm on the spot in these scenarios, but it's really well built and there's some good solutions to it. And that's what hot rodding's about. It looks like a nice build. I always feel it's weird to, I'm jumping ahead to the scoring part of this job. And it's really weird to score hot rods amongst the normal cars because they're just a different entity, aren't they? You can't really say, oh, how does a hot rod compare against this car? Like when we're judging at the shows, you're like, well, it's a hot rod, so it's kind of better than everything already. And then, so it should sort of win, but it's not. So I'm going to jump in with a score and I'm going to give it an 8 on the hot rod scale because it's nice and I like the way it's built, but it's definitely not the way like my top hot rod. So I'm giving it an 8 on a special hot rod chart.
okay. I'm going to give it an 8.25,
Wow,
which
eight and
I
a quarter.
rate it slightly above yours, mainly because I think this will look better once he's done paint and upholstery, which he plans to do. I like a good rat rod. I like a good trad rod, but for a trad rod, I like them when they're painted a suitable color. I mean, this in a gloss black.
I was
With,
thinking a dark, like a midnight blue
yeah,
gloss
yeah,
would
that
look
work.
stunning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's kind of where I'm going with that. But everything else about it, I love. As you say, I love the ingenuity of hot rod building, of finding a problem and a solution and thinking around it. I don't have that kind of brain, so I'm always in awe of people that will just take a car and go, right, I need to get this engine in. And particularly when it's down to just like chassis rails and bodywork, that kind of makes it a little bit easier, quote unquote. But then your innovative solutions have to be slightly more innovative because you've actually got so little to work with. I quite like them. I say I quite like them. I love them. So yes, metal shapes. Keep doing what you do, because I look forward to seeing this in paint and upholstery.
Nice. And without the hood, I think it would look a bit more traditional as well. The slopes on the roof, sorry, are
Yeah.
seem to sort of modernise it a bit. I think if you imagine it without the roof there, then
Yeah,
it
I mean
becomes
it's a removable hardtop,
yeah,
so it'll be interesting to see once it's painted and upholstered what it ends up looking like
yeah,
without the roof.
yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm a big fan of this. Cool. Well,
As am I.
I think that's us for this time. Two easy wins there, I think, for excellent cars. So we will see you next week, I should imagine, for more of us talking about things.